All
Hello.
right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fullstack for Noobs. I am Sally, and alongside me I have Ricardo. And as usual, we are back to our schedule to
Yes.
build hopefully something cool for everyone to be able to use. But before we move forward, first I want to pass the mic to Rick, and he can tell what we did, who is he, and everything else. So
Yes. Okay. Well, yes. Good to see you again, Matt, Sally. So, welcome everyone. This is, I think, fifth or sixth episode now,
yeah.
where we're actually going to be using some of the spec-driven development tools, AI coding assistants, to help us build something for real, right? So, we're building this quiz game, a quest. And so the first episode, we introduced why we want to build it, and we dove into a little bit about the architecture. And then from episodes 2 to the last episode, we've been focusing on the front end. Okay, so we start on the front end, and we've got, I think, we've done pretty well so far. We've gone through some ups and downs, and what we've been exploring with you, how, sharing some of the tips on how you can actually overcome some of the issues and challenges that we've seen as we've been using it to generate the code. And we're kind of very close now to finishing it. Where we left it last time was we had now a finished kind of game board, that worked and behaved pretty much how we liked it. But there was a couple of things missing, I think, Sally. First of all, there was the leaderboard, and I think there was the splash page as well, I think. But I think pretty much once those two things are done, the front end piece is finished.
Yeah, I think it was really good. We will showcase it in a second as well, so everyone can enjoy it too for a moment and see where we are at. But I think we did a lot of great things, and the game logic was more or less there. Of course, there were some tiny tweaks that we are planning to do, but right now our focus is heavily on how to make this as a start to end experience. And we were thinking about, let me show you, it's easier. So it's easier show than tell, or something like this, right? There was a saying like this.
Yes,
All right,
this really is, I think, a beauty actually. And there's a lot of code that Kiro's already produced, right? And so it's looking quite comprehensive at the moment. But again, just to remind folks, we are doing this vibe. Okay, we're vibing it as opposed to doing it spec. And again, as Sally gets this started, the reason for this is that we're exploring the area, the space on which to build our application, and we'll use that information and knowledge later on when we actually then start to do the same thing, but this time using specifications.
Yeah, so right now I, for example, write the name of the user. We have difficulty settings, the avatars, and so on, that later on we plan to use actually Kiro based avatars, but right now we have these in place. And when you click on play, now you're in the spot to select the question. What is the time complexity of binary search, for example? What we have is we have a clipboard, so you can go back and ask it to Kiro in case you want to see how it is. The goal is to give everyone why.
Did it work? Did the actual clipboard code work?
It was working.
So this is interesting, isn't it? Because just because these AI coding assistants say they do something doesn't always actually lead to the fact that it works. So did you manually copy and paste that, or did you use the file?
Yeah, at the end I just manually copied it and pasted that, but it was super weird.
Okay, so that means this actually is actually quite good, right? Because this is something that happens a lot, right? Whereby the AI coding assistants, they will happily say they've done something, but then you end up not necessarily having everything done. It might do some of it, but it might miss a few details, right? So it is important that you pick these up. So I think we should probably address this one now quickly, saying that the copy to clipboard functionality is not currently working.
But functionality is not working right now. Can you fix it?
So one of the things that I like to do, I've actually done a few blog posts on this, okay, is that when we're troubleshooting with these AI coding assistants, this might work. Okay, I don't know. We'll have to see. But what I found is there is a difference between being able to get them to more consistently provide really, really good troubleshooting help, whereby we provide the kind of situation. So, for example, we're in the editor, we're asking a question where there's a copy to clipboard button. When we do that, when we click on that, currently it's supposed to do this, but it's not doing this. Can you help look for the problem? Now we may not need that in this instance, but if it doesn't fix the problem for us. That's typically how I would have approached using the tool to help fix these kind of issues, because it depends really on lots of factors, right? How obvious the issue is versus the context. We did a new window there, so this is something to think about for folks who are watching as to how to use these tools to do troubleshooting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, especially with a project like this small, this would work. But I think it's very valuable to keep in mind that how you explain the situation. Let me open the light again. They're doing energy efficiency in the office. So I
You
need
need to
show
move more,
myself.
Sally. Start
Yeah,
moving more.
exactly.
Okay, we have to
I need
make
to
you
dance
work.
every once in a while,
Yeah.
So if I
I
go
don't have
back,
energy efficient light bulbs, which is why I could just say nice
yeah.
and chill. Right.
If I do like here this and let's say click on a question, copy the clipboard, now it works.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Fantastic. Look at that.
Let me be sure. No, it actually copied this, not the question itself. That's interesting.
So it
I do pass. Yeah, sorry.
So do it. Yeah, do it a couple of times, and so that one looks okay.
No, this only copied the code snippet. You see?
Oh yeah, only copies the code. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it needs to copy the question.
So we need to go back.
We need to go back. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
the solution is wrong. It needs to copy the question, not the code snippet.
I think maybe what we should say, okay, is that we've done it now.
I cancel it. No worries.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that maybe what we should say is that the fix doesn't quite work. It needs to copy the whole question and any options, or any information like code, because some questions that aren't going to have code snippets, are they? So they might have other markdown. So we basically need to kind of like explain that it could be anything that's in the question needs to be copyable to the clipboard. But I guess maybe the challenge there is what does that even look like, right? But let's give it a go. Yeah,
I just said there's everything related to it. I hope it doesn't understand it as options, though. If it understands it as options, then that's another issue, because I don't want to have the options alongside.
And also when you with the first one, it actually copied HTML, didn't it? So we probably want to tell it that it shouldn't include any HTML in the in any HTML formatting. But I guess the problem there is that if any of the questions have got HTML, then that could be quite tricky, right?
Yeah. So right now, I hope it somehow understands our struggle and fixes it properly. So I go back, and then I will make up a name.
So we've got Tobias. So looking forward to FlutterCon or NextCon, or whatever it's going to be called.
Nice. See, I have my Flutter gang,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, nice to meet you, Tozu, as well, or Tobias.
Yeah, he is one of the most fun people that I have met from the communities. So shout out to you. We met during an event in Amsterdam, and it was super fun. And then after this kind of stuff, you immediately become friends.
Yeah. I guess this is the crew that was trolling you about why you weren't doing this in Flutter as well, right?
Yeah. Part of it.
Okay, this is the one. Oh, that's it. It's looking good.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works perfect.
Okay.
So right now we are where we want to be. So this looks good. The next thing that we want to do is actually. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do the splash screen with the nice information, or do you want to do?
I don't mind. I'm not easy. Maybe we could do that, or we could do the leaderboard. I don't. What do you think is going to be the easiest, or the? I mean, I like to tackle hard things first. So the leaderboard sounds like it might be a bit more challenging than the splash page, right?
Yeah. Here's a question to you though. Do you want to do the leaderboard through spec-driven development, or do you want to do still vibing?
No, let's vibe, because remember at this stage what we're doing is we're just basically trying to explore the space. So let's
100%, yeah.
just do vibing first, because
All right.
I think even though we're sort of tackling this component by component and feature by feature, we're still basically collecting information which we could use as we start to then architect ultimately what we're going to create as for our specs. I think also this allows us to start to think about how we subdivide the application. So from the core application, then each feature as its own spec. Because for those of you who may be new to Kiro, specifications are not just one thing, right? You can actually start with the core of your application and then start adding features, and each of those features being its own spec, right, with its own life cycle. So design document, requirements document, and code. And that's how I like to do it, right? I will start with the core, and then I will just add things. But I would do that after a vibe coding session, right? And again, we have been doing this for like I think 5 or 6 episodes. We're doing it an hour at a time. You would typically only do this for maybe 1 or 2 days, right? But that gives you enough rich information to really be able to kind of be crisp and clear when you actually come to your specs. I think that's the value of it, right? This is not just a case of we're going to run with this vibe application because it's working. No, we're using this purely to explore the space and capture the right information so that when we then start building specs, we're doing it, I think, in a much more kind of structured and intentful way.
100%. As I said earlier on, like I don't like many of the approaches that has been taken here. That
so it's actually that's the point, Sally. So you don't. So you're this stream is a front end, right, for noobs. I'm the noob, okay. You're getting some itches, right, and some like nervousness, right, some ticks looking at this structure that I wouldn't get, right. So how do you think, how would if I did this and I ended up with this structure, what are we going to take away from this vibe coding session to make sure that when it's implemented in spec mode that it doesn't do this? Are there, like, for example, would you put some steering documents together that would say I need a specific structure or layout? How would you approach that?
I mean, there are multiple ways to do it. Let's start with the simple one to the complex one. Oh, okay. Luckily, I didn't show anything.
Yeah, all right.
So let me go back. So the easiest one is using your common sense, meaning that you read this stuff, right? And you see there's something called model, there's something called page, and the rest, for example, tiles, and like, for example, there's page, screen, whatever it is. There's also some simple stuff like tiles. Do you think that they belong together? No, because you use tiles to create a screen, for example, or you use screens to create a page, because like multiple screens can have multiple purposes because of the oh my god, I forgot the word again. That like when the screen is smaller or bigger.
Yeah,
like
it's resizing. Yeah,
responsive.
Yeah.
I forget it every time. Yeah. So, or there's, for example, the more questions file here. This is not a component. This is not a UI component at all. Like this is just information. Where will it define?
Okay, so that makes sense to me, right? So you're right. When you're decomposing the application, there's going to be different components. At the moment, it's actually kind of put all this in one area, right?
Yeah, and Michael also shared steering documents to guide the formatting will take an edge off the time spent. No doubt, exactly, because steering documents are your rules, right? And I was actually like with this one, let's do a segue into the skills, because with the latest release of the Kiro ID, now we have support for skills as well. And in the skills, we have 2 information. One is the skills.md, which gives information to the agent to do some operations, give some skills to build something, and it has rules in it, or in the Kiro's format, it is the steering files to allow you to build around certain rules, because this is why we have, in software development, this is why we have rules like best practices or like architectural decisions and whatnot, right? Because it allows us to stay in the course, stay in whatever we want to do through the rules. And steering files helps with that. Rules helps with that, or our own conventions help with that as well.
Right,
So what
right.
I would have done for a person like you, I would have added the skills here and say, hey, like, go through this project and fix this, please, because it is driving me crazy.
So
But
okay,
right
but
now, yeah.
that's the bit I think I'm trying to. So are you saying that, you know, the current files in the games directory, right? You would create you would move them out of components because they're not components, or would you keep them in components but create a different structure? Like, for example, we got editor, we've got game board, we've got questions, right? And then we got basically game itself, right? So how would you do that? Or where if they don't live in components, where do they live?
So, like, for example, this one, like, this has nothing to do with UI. Why should it be in something related to the components? What I
Right.
would
So
do
components
is
are
I
only
would move
UI
this.
then.
Yeah, exactly. So this, like, first rule is only UI. So the types and mock questions, they don't belong here. You will kick them out.
Okay.
The
All right.
second thing is the component, from my point of view, means it is a piece that you could reiterate, reuse to build larger pieces. That is why, for example, under the components we have UI, these two comes from Shotzi and library that we
Yep.
have used. And you can see that we don't have any pages underneath it because this is just a piece that I need. And for game, I'm okay to keep it under game, the pieces. The reason is that they are focused on the game piece. Right now, this is called
Yeah.
hexagon tile, and we could also move this to the UI. It's up to us. But we could have also called this game tile to be able to keep it under the game as well, because it is part of the game logic. But for example, question model. Question model is still under the game, but it is not as specific as the hexagon tile or game tile here, because model is a bigger piece. It's a bigger screen that we have seen, right? We are still using it as well. So that would end up in another place, and pages and screens would have been totally different as well. For a
Right.
smaller app like this with like 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, let's say like 14, or let's say they overlook 20 files, it's easy to manage. You don't even have to have
Yeah.
folder structure. Don't quote me on this. This is what I'm saying. It's this
Right.
is the
Right.
bad way to go to move forward. But to make a better impact, to make an easier impact, easier implementation, you can think like, what is the purpose of this? And according to the purpose, you can select where they should land.
So I hear you, and actually I'm a bit OCD like that. I like to have projects structured a certain way, right? But okay, there is some thinking here, okay, that
Yeah.
maybe we structure the code in our projects, and you know, by that I mean our steering files, our skills, whatever, um, to make it easier for us as humans to read, which is important because we ultimately need to review them, right? But is there a, you know, potentially a point of view? And this actually came up last week. I was at a conference talking specifically about this, right? Or do we need to start to let go of some of these and actually let the AI, the agentic AI, decide where it goes and decide to put files where it works best for it, right? And I'm not quite sure at the moment because I can see pros and cons for everything, right? Because if you think about it, especially with context management, um, there is something to be said that even though it might look really, really ugly to put all things that sort of work across different kind of like disciplines within an application architecture together, okay, you wouldn't do that normally, right? Because it goes against every best practice we've been taught. But the AI actually might think, you know, I quite like this you've presented everything for me in one small area, surface area. Therefore, I'm going to be much more effective in updating that code, refactoring that code, or changing, you know, making changes, right? So I'm not quite sure at the moment. So how important? I mean, I can understand why it's important now, right? But as someone who's, you know, coming, you know, completely new to React, okay, do you see that this becoming less important over time?
I would say no, because at the end I'm moving, so the light doesn't go. I would say no. The biggest reason is at the end of the day, we are in the driving seat as developers, and we are still going to review this code. And for developers to build this application,
I get
build
that. I get that
these,
argument, right? I get that. But what
yeah,
I'm saying, okay, is that do we do that at the expense of the efficacy of the tool? So if we know doing that makes the tool 20 or 30% less effective, is that still a good trade-off?
20-30% is a lot. I can't say it like, yeah, make the tool 30% effective, less effective, because we are advocating for these tools in the way that they are useful
Yeah,
and
yeah.
making us faster.
I think
So,
what I'm saying
but
is that you
yeah,
know this is a very small project. But imagine it were a huge project, right, with
yeah,
many thousands of files, right? Then I think this is where it then kind of comes
yeah.
into more play. So I think where I'm at the moment is that it's good at the moment to understand, especially when you're learning, what good looks like. So you're basically your knowledge, your experience is that you get the ick right from this because it doesn't quite work. It's not a component, right? It's something bigger, and that's good to know. And you would restructure it differently, right? That's good knowledge, right? Something that I don't have, right? But then going forward, if this was a huge project, right, and then the AI refactored it so that it worked best for it, would we then basically try and change that to make it more fit into our requirements? I guess that's the question. I mean, there's no answer. I'm not asking for an answer here. It's just something. This is
No,
a
no,
meta.
I'm going
Yeah.
to answer, but again, like, don't quote me on these, please, people. Like, I would, um, very honest, very openly, I'm not going to select a political answer here. I will be direct, and I will say, please make the tools work for you, not work for the tools. This is my
Okay.
opinion. I Why is that? Because I think, my, again, personal beliefs and opinions, these are great tools to make you faster. And yeah, you might lose 30%, but you are still gaining 70%. Keep the 70%, move forward, and actually build it faster in the way that you can onboard people faster as well. At that moment, maybe it will be less, but in the long run, when you onboard people and everything, it will be better. Plus, AI is not deterministic. With Cloud Opus 4.6, right now it thinks this is the best way to go. And let's say tomorrow they call a new thing called Cloud uh, Nemo 5.0, whatever you want to call it. And for that, you know what? I'm changing my mind. What are we going to do? Is it going to refactor everything in the project because it is going to best work better? Or it will say, hey, I already know the rules, so I will just follow it along and adapt myself. It is about context management. And I would personally, with the change in rules and everything, it's actually whatever you would be doing with regular software development as well, right? Because languages evolve as well. Languages, like, I will give the Java example because coming from Android, we have been pushed using Java 8 for a long, long time to, like, that there were like cool features of it and everything. So if we were in the AI phase for Android apps, I'm sure there will be a lot of hallucinations to pull in the cool features of, for example, lambda annotations and so on, even though it wasn't supported. And it would break things.
Yeah,
So at
yeah.
the end, context matters. Even though it's slow, it's better to let it know what it means
Yeah.
to be a proper developer on this one.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm aligned with you on that. I think it's an interesting question because I think there's a danger that if left unguarded, we may end up down the line with application code bases that look hideous, right? That basically
Yeah,
are
yeah,
optimized for AI coding assistants, and you know we can understand why, right? Based on what I've just said, but then become almost impossible to work with, you know, because I think I worry about us, you know, undoing a lot of the good practices we've learned. You know, I worry about us more tightly coupling. I worry about cross-cutting concerns being kind of like all merged together. I mean, I've seen projects that mix back end, front end, HTML all in one directory structure, right? Because
yeah.
that's the optimum for the context window of the AI tool they were using, right? And it works really, really well. But I worry that we're digging ourselves a massive hole. Okay, if we carry on down that path. Anyway, bit of a diversion. Let's carry on.
Yeah. All right. So let me By the way, if anyone has any comments, we have a few people coming, going. Please drop it to the chat. I really like it. Then we have audience reactions and so on. So if
tell us what you think.
any,
Tell us what you think about this discussion. Right? Do you think that AI coding assistants we should bend to their will, or should they adapt to good practices that we teach them? It's a good question. Anyway, so go back to the so Sally, we understand that this is not quite optimum. So where would you put, for example, like the question modal, right? If it doesn't go in components, where would it go? Would it go in assets? Would it go in a new structure? Or when you're designing a prompt or a rule, how would you configure that?
That's a great question. And I think I'm in between for models. I think for models, I would still keep it in components. But I would have a new folder to have them have a folder to just focus on the models, so it is easier to focus on the models later on. And same for the pages and screens as well.
So
we have a comment. I like it when we have a comment. Yeah.
we got a good comment here. So the argument still stands though. When the project gets bigger, you're reviewing a scope that you, the driver, needs to understand grows too, even if all the stuff is the same area. Just for the premises closer, smaller context, fewer tokens. It does not improve your productivity. Good point. The opposite happens. It's like applying reusable coding patterns versus writing everything the same file, which again, that's a whole nother crow. So thanks for that, Tobias. I think that's what we ended up with. I think that's our feeling. But let's see where we end up with that, because I think that's my view as well, is that we'll end up with these horror code bases that somehow work, have been stitched together through the black boxes that are these LLMs, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is already this. This is already let's forget about everything. This doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? There is the code editor. And when I look at the code editor, I'm sure I will see, for example, business logic and everything. So it goes back to what Tobias said as well. It's which one? Which one do you want to do? Do you want to do state manager? Do you want whatever you want to do? And if there's so much logic in it, if there's some logic even in it, it means it is not a component. Component, I always say the same thing. It should be dumb. It should be unaware of what's going on, and everything should be passive. It's like using a button. Button, click, hover state, state of it, the UI can it can work in that. But what happens with on click, you pass it in. And this is what we should be doing with the minimal components. And if it's a screen, if it's a page, it's another story. Anyway, so let's continue.
That's good. No, that's good. So basically, my takeaway from here is that the stuff in the components should have no logic in them, right? Just state.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I changed from 4.5 to 4.6 with Opus, because that is the latest one. As I said, when there's the latest and greatest, I will go with that one. So what I will say is I will give the current state. I will mention that right now we can have the user name and the gaming logic is there as well. However, we are missing. No, not however we're missing. I want to implement. I want you to implement a leaderboard mechanism, and for this you can.
Okay, well, you carry on. I'm going to bring up.
Go ahead.
Another comment from Michael.
Yeah.
So bend to our will, no doubt. But I like the idea that when we set out to architect a project, go from vibe to spec, for example, that it needs to have a consequence for making a mistake, like simple GitHub action. If a commit and push has errors in the code, it won't upload, right? Yes, exactly. Thank you for that.
So keep the leaderboard and ensure the point mechanism is implemented correctly.
So make sure the point mechanism is implemented correctly. We don't where we have not really done the point. So how does it know about a point mechanism? So chicken
It
and egg,
created
right?
some. I think it created some point, or no, it didn't
Oh,
actually.
right. Okay.
If it doesn't exist, I give you
So do we
power.
just need can we just maybe even make it simpler than that? Because all it is, it's a
Yeah,
leaderboard that lists the players and the scores that they created. Right? We don't have to worry. We
yeah.
don't have to worry about actually points mechanisms, because I think leaderboards are pretty dumb things. Right? It's literally a SQL query, get top 10 from the data store. Right? Isn't it? Or
But right
am
now we are
I?
missing like there's no point mechanism at all. So we should at least say for leaderboard, make sure to like every right question is 1 point or something, because it doesn't exist at all right now, right?
Well, so that's okay. That's a really good question, right? So where I guess I assumed. I mean, we have a game mechanism, right? And what I mean by that is that the logic of the game, i.e., you go from left to right, you answer questions, and then you get some points, right? That's not defined in the front. Or is that defined in the? Do we need to define that in the front end, or is that defined in the back end?
I mean, point calculation, I think it should be on the backend side, no? Because what if we are disconnected and we want to
Yeah, well,
calculate
that's what I'm thinking, and I think exactly. So that's why I'm asking the question, right? So the assumption is the
but
backend is managing all the stateful stuff, right? And then we're just bringing in a list of the players and the points.
but we have also the mock questions here as well, so we can have the mock.
Yeah, so we can put
well.
say, for example, a mock leaderboard data, right? Is it because I think that's what we've done for other screen types, right?
Yeah, but what I want to do is like it would be still nice. Like we can fill it with mock leaderboard, but I also want to see a real time change as well. That's why I said like use the local
As we test it, you
storage.
mean? As we test it?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Okay.
I
So
can like I will
yeah.
fill in the top 10 list with mock user and points.
Yeah. Make sure the points are very low so we can get on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I was very low. I am not very smart. All right, so let's see what it's going to do with my pure honesty.
I mean, we haven't given it. Also, we've just asked it to end to do. So we haven't. So here's the thing, right? In my head, when I was doing this in my vibe coding session, I was like providing it screenshots to what it looked like and all this kind of stuff. So we've not done anything. So we're going to see where this comes, right? Because in my head, this was on the front page, right? So and also the leaderboard logic also needs to come after the players played the game, right? So they can see where they are. I mean, it'd be nice to see the top 10, and then they could have their points and where they are in the ranking system.
Yeah.
And also, Sally, because the idea of this is that whilst it's going to be an application that is run at events, the application will be long running. So every time we do an event, it'll be a new instance of the quest. So we'll have this concept of a global leaderboard. So we want to basically display the local leaderboard and the global leaderboard, right? There's two leaderboards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that way, you can see how not just how good you are at this event, but how you fit into the overall scheme of things, right? Because this is feedback we got from the first from running Q Dev Challenge last year. People wanted to see how they compared with other countries and other players, right? So that's one of the features we wanted to put in leaderboard.
We need to also make sure that it is crisp and not hackable as well.
Well, so actually, so I've been thinking a lot about that, because I think you're right. I think my biggest worry from having implemented sort of or tried to learn a JavaScript to do a game 2 years ago, the biggest learning I had wasn't how good the AI coding systems were getting, was how difficult it was when you have a front end in JavaScript and a back end API. How hard it is to manage the cheating piece of it, right? Because with everyone was doing the same thing. Everyone was basically exploring the JavaScript and then hacking the APIs to basically give themselves like maximum points.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. This is a good spot because I have played those, right, and they are pretty awesome. Is to see the worldwide, see how low you are in the scheme of things, right? So yes, cheers for that, Michael.
You could also see, for example, even though you are not in top 10, do you see your spot in these? For example, after you finish the pop thing, if you are in the 11,722, would you still see that?
I hadn't thought about that. Let's get to that when we get to it.
Yeah, I'm just curious if we would be depressed to see
Yeah,
if we are too bad,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I mean the overwhelming curiosity I have is how bad I am compared to everyone else, right? And if I've done really, really well, I want to find out how well I've compared to everyone else. So I think it works on both levels, right? Because I think anyone who plays is willing to put themselves out there. So they've already won in my eyes, right? There's no such thing as someone who's a loser who plays the game, because you're willing to just give it a go.
Yeah, I also like that people will leave their comfort zone to be able to build something, or learn something. It's really important that, like, especially in our job, we're always in our own silos, and like we build only with our team and we don't talk to people much and so on and so forth. But actually the conference and everything exists because it is important to leave your comfort zone every once in a while and just interact with something that you don't generally do to grow into
totally
something new.
I mean, it does lead to another adjacent point, which is, when I speak to folks about using these tools, they are very much one developer to one tool, right? And they do give a single developer 10x powers, right? You can now do at least at some level, you can do things that you previously weren't comfortable doing. But how do people do it in pairs like we're doing, right? How what is the best way? What's the most effective way? And I don't really have an answer for that one at the moment. I've not really seen it work particularly well, other than through developers using shared repos and committing code and doing baton type kind of work. Obviously now we have parallel agents. I've seen models where the developers spend time with their parallel team, right? Their agentic team, rather than with other developers. So I think that's an interesting question around what does this mean for inter-developer collaborations, like you say, right? That's a good question. I don't know what the answer is and how we solve that, but maybe this is something we need to think about. Because we want to share best practices, we want to share tips. Right.
I mean, we fix the problems as we move forward, so I hope we can see it as well. So like right now we don't see it. Probably we need to finish the game, I guess, to be able to see it. Like, which method is to add an element to end up an array. Oh my god, this is like, why I hate these kind of questions, because it's different in every language.
Well, I think what we got Kira can help you answer that question.
Sorry. I mean, like, I just thought about it. I was like, it should be push, but I remember this one. This was reference error. You see the number is moving up. So
the thing is, though, what we can't do now, because, like I say, we can't finish the game to check the logic unless we answer all the questions, right? So what we need to do is we need to have a feature for testing for the development phase that allows us to, in the select answer question, highlight the right answer just during development, right? And now the danger of that is that we need to make sure that code is removed later on, right?
I mean, if we are going to open source this, probably many things will be removed.
I'm just thinking, just from the point of view of like being able to quickly test it so that you can test these features.
Yeah. We can add this. One thing that I want to show is, by the way, like for every right question, you get an additional multiplier.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
It by itself, like.
Well, we had that as an idea, didn't we? We had that as an idea as doing hot streaks.
The leaderboard is here.
What?
By the way.
Wait, hang on. Where did that happen? How did that happen?
It was here. It was scrollable. Like, I didn't see it.
Okay, so this is why. Okay, this is why, because we didn't tell it where to put it, right? So
yeah.
But okay, you haven't finished. That's what the leaderboard hasn't changed because you haven't finished.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, I will continue.
So
And
I'm just
of course we
conscious
have,
because when I was doing this, Sally, in my version, okay, what I realized is that I had to kind of create a button to effectively fast track me finishing it, just so that I could. That code doesn't look right, does it?
no, we have a problem with the code editor for sure.
Okay.
I will just pass this and
Oh
now
no.
oh no, we're stuck. Let me,
Oh.
if I click this again, I think it will change it. Let me see. Yes.
Okay,
What
that's good.
does yes, sister? Do you remember this one?
Yes, cascading style sheets.
Cascading style
Style,
sheets.
not styling, not styling.
Yeah,
Although I do
exactly.
prefer your
What I
version.
did was a cascade styling sheets. Oh my sheets. Oh
I
my
definitely
god.
preferred your version of styling because
Yeah.
I love styling it. So, okay, come on.
All
Oh, we're
right.
gonna
So
finish. We're gonna finish. Oh, look at
yeah.
that. Happy days.
What cascading? No, I was going to
Cascading. Come on.
style sheets. Yeah. Submit. Yes. So we are in
320.
like, yeah. And if I go play again,
Look at
yeah,
that.
I'm on the top of the list. Yeah. Nice.
Fantastic. So the
And
leaderboard
this
logic
also follows
works.
your approach. Like if I do more questions, you see like I come back or change, it worked.
So, but the
So
leaderboard should be on the home when you finish, right? So if you scroll up, right, the
yeah,
idea, okay, is should be that now the game board should not be there, right? And the splash page.
yeah,
So we want to alternate. So first of all, that we need to remove the leaderboard from where it currently is, and it should only appear on the splash page when the game isn't playing.
all right. So let's tell this to Kiro. So what are the problems you're seeing? First of all, the leaderboard should be on the like,
Well, we haven't defined
you
what
want
the
to see,
splash page is yet. So I think this is an interesting one, right? So we haven't actually. So maybe we should have started with the splash page because now we don't have the language, right? Because we haven't told it.
yeah,
So this is again another reason why we're doing vibe coding, okay? So that when
yeah,
you're doing vibe coding, these are the things you discover, right? The orders of things that
yeah,
may you think aren't important suddenly become important. So I think maybe what we need to do is park the leaderboard where it is, right?
yeah,
Do the splash page, right?
yeah.
And then we come back to the leaderboard and say now we want to alternate the splash page with the leaderboard.
I want to do an experiment as well. So in a
Okay.
new session, I will implement the splash screen, and afterwards I will go back to the previous chat and move that to the splash screen. I'm really curious what it's going to do.
Well, in theory,
To,
so let's hypothesize what will happen. Okay, so my hypothesis is because each chat window is its own context window, right?
yeah,
If we do that, it's not going to know what the splash screen is, right?
yeah,
And so it's going to then basically spin up a bunch of cycles looking at the project, looking at files, maybe, or then deciding it's going to make its own splash page up. What do
yeah.
you think is going to happen?
I think it will read the file since it cannot find it. But here's my worry. During that context management, I'm not sure if it's mapping the file structure already when it revisited it, or it just gets it every time. If it gets it every time, then I think it will do it the right thing. If it doesn't, then it might recreate.
Yeah. So
So
my
I'm not
experience, okay, it doesn't.
sure.
It doesn't do. It doesn't have a file system watcher, right? In my experience.
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
happens is if you make changes to files, we saw it actually. Remember when
Yeah.
you were changing the files manually? I said what you need to do is you need to remind the context window. You need to tickle it. I call it tickling. You need to tickle
Yeah.
it. So one way you could do it is you could go to back to the chat window and say, I've added some new files that implement a splash screen, right? And then
Yeah.
that's enough to get the agentic AI to then do the file system search, right? So as long as you tell it something beforehand, but otherwise, in my experience, it doesn't actually. I mean, at least with Kiro, I don't know what others might do it differently, but certainly with Kiro, that's what I found.
All right. So let's implement
Do
it.
it.
So with the splash screen, for me means it's a screen that is shown for a certain amount of time, then it's dismissed. Do you mean that as
No.
well?
So the splash screen is the first page you see when the game starts, and it's the game that stays there until the player plays a game. And
So there should be.
and it's also the screen that happens when the player finishes the game as well.
Okay, let me remove and see what you have sent me for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'll also make sure I think I did send those images to you, but again, we've been doing it through the medium of Slack channels, which is that well-known file transfer system that that people use.
You know what? No, actually, you only sent me the quest create page. Can you send me the?
What did I send you? What did I send you?
You didn't send me the splash screen.
Okay.
I had everything that we implemented so far is there.
Okay. All right. So let me just have a look. Create user news. Oh yes, I think I didn't do it. Okay, so let's do that then. Do this now. Quickly export these as PNG files. Download PNG quest splash. Also, I think this also helps with the positioning of the or the positioning of the leaderboard, because that's also in these, right? So splash leaderboard PNG export. Now I've got these files. Let's put them into Slack.
I am waiting.
Okay, right. So that is those. Send. They are winging your way as fast as they can from Whitstable in Kent in UK to Berlin. No, Switzerland. You're in Switzerland today, aren't you? So a little bit further to go up those mountains. So it's got there.
Yeah, today it was like very misty. I was actually. Have you watched the movie Hobbit?
Yes, of course. Who hasn't?
Yeah. I mean, there are people, I don't want to put people on the, I would say, like, in an awkward position, but some people apparently they live in caves, so they don't watch Hobbit, They don't.
Well, I was thinking you can't go to Switzerland without running along on the hills and singing the Sound of Music, right? So that's the initial.
Yeah.
That's what I always have the urge to do, right? In London in the 90s, there was a cinema, and every Sunday morning they would have the Sound of Music film, and everyone would go there, still a little bit hungover from the night before, to basically just relax, chill out, and then just lose themselves singing the Sound of Music. Oh, Sound of Music is Austria. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tobias, I got that wrong. Oh no, that's me.
For me, that's why I guess my logic of singing the Misty Mountains.
Yeah. And I should know that. I should know that, but what can I say? I was too hungover.
And now you are caught, man. You're caught with the audience.
Yeah.
Now you wish
makes
you
sense
didn't
because
have anyone.
T-roll is beautiful. I spent a lot of time in T-roll. When in the days when I used to snowboard. That was like over 20 years ago, and it's got these glaciers so that you can pretty much board all year round. Right, it's amazing. So, and in summer it's just stunning. So I should have known that, but for some reason, anyway, I now know Austria.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the screenshots.
So I added the screenshot over here, and for the people to see, let me bring that as well really quickly. So this is something like this. On the left side, there's an explanation text with cool thing. There's the game banner, information, and help and start a new game button on the right side.
So what we are going to do already, isn't it? That right hand panel is already implemented. So yes, what we're asking it to do is implement a page on the left hand side where we can put freeform text, right? To describe how the game works or why they should play it, and we need to be able to customize that text as well, right? So it's not hard coded in some kind of React component. It needs to be something that's editable.
Well, right now it's going to be. It is going to.
Yeah, not now.
It
Yeah,
is
not
going to be
now. Not
more.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Implement the shared page. Uh,
Shared, no, splash page.
yeah, splash.
So actually, can we maybe start do this like we want to create. Let's talk about it from the point of view of the workflow. We want to create.
Can I pause you for a moment? I don't want
Yeah.
to call this splash page because
Okay.
splash page is again like, when you open an app on your on your mobile phone, you see a moment of, I don't know, animation or an icon and so on.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
splash page to me. The splash page is, in my mind, designed to be dissolved. This
Okay.
feels like a welcome page to me.
Okay.
Than
Oh,
a
okay.
splash
Yeah, I like
page.
that. Well, I think that's better. Yeah, welcome page. That works for me, Sally. Okay, so we're doing a
Okay,
welcome
perfect.
page, right? So
Yeah.
when
So
so when the
sorry
game
for being
starts,
very nitpicky,
no,
but
it's good. Well, these details are important, okay? And maybe
yeah,
this is it. Maybe actually this is the value of collaborating, right, with these AI coding
yeah,
assistants, right? When you speak to another
yeah,
human, you end up getting better because there's two of you figuring out what the term should be called, right? So
yeah,
I think you're right. So, but let's frame it from the point of view of the process. So when the game starts, it should
yeah,
display the welcome page. The welcome
yeah.
page should look like this, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And then,
yeah, and I think that what we should also add is that the components on the right hand side we've already created. It's just the left hand side as well, because we don't want it to reinvent everything, right? Yeah.
on the sign up screen.
Is that sign up screen or new game screen?
No, it is the sign up screen.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool.
We don't
Oh,
have
okay.
a
So
new
you're
game screen
you're
now.
referring you're referring to what it's currently called in the actual. Okay. Right. Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
That makes a lot
Like
of
it
sense. Yeah.
called it sign up screen, so that's why we kept it that way. That's what I mean. Like when we shouldn't let AI to do
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
even the
No,
naming
that
decisions
makes
as
sense.
well.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So you can reuse the components. Start new game button should take the user to sign up screen, right?
Yep. That's right. So I think
And
we should also. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the welcome screen should wait for a period of time and then alternate to the leaderboard as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, so it's like a carousel effect, right? The
Yeah.
carousel, which is normally images. This time we're basically defining 30 seconds for the welcome page, then 30 seconds for the high score, and then rotate that way.
Let's do 5 seconds for now so we can see everything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
And one of the pages in the carousel should be the leaderboard.
Yes. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
The other one should be the free text component that you see in the
welcome page.
Screenshot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're good.
I think that's
We
good.
can go for it.
Yeah, I mean,
All
it's
right.
important. It's important to craft these prompts properly, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're kind of like giving over control. So, okay, let's just start by understanding the existing code base structure, and it's doing that because we're in a new chat window, so no context. So it has to basically figure things out for itself. And again, going back to our early conversation, right? When it's doing this, this is where you either have the right steering files, or you have your code optimized for AI coding assistants. And actually, one of the things that you can do with Kiro, okay, and we haven't done this yet, but we can generate steering files from the code base, right? And maybe that's something we can try, right, and see if that helps. But because we're changing so much, it's going to be very fluid, right? So I found in the past that kind of can be quite, complex.
Yeah, I think also by design, the steering files comes as automatic. So we need to change it to manual so it doesn't call it every time. And when it's manual, you have to be sure that it is called every time as well. So it's a very tricky balance to keep.
It is. It totally is. It totally is a balance. I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think maybe it implemented already.
Really? Oh, this is good.
I don't know, man. I'm impressed.
Let's so okay. Oh, hang on. What's going on? Did it build? Yep.
Created vacuum page, blah blah blah. All right.
Okay.
Let's see. Are you ready?
Yes. I'm not worried
All
about the
right.
look. And it's even
Yeah.
got the carousel buttons at the bottom. Look at that.
Yeah, it is clickable as well.
It's clickable as well. That's even better. It's even better than the original. And it hasn't changed too much. I mean, this is perfect. I mean, what I would probably do as well is I would probably put maybe some screenshots of the game in the previous one as well, so that people can see what the game looks like. So to entice them in. But this is perfect.
So you think we should show this one? Why you're not showing it? Okay, so let me open the right screenshot that you shared as well. So like we wanted to build this, and
I mean, what we want it to look nice, right? So I'm not worried about the how. I mean, maybe now is the right time to bring this question in, right? So we're building the structural components at the moment, right? How do you actually then bring in a designer with graphical skills or graphic elements? How do you bring those in?
Wow, that's an excellent question. I think we should ask AI.
Okay.
I think we should ask AI, like, hey, like, you can see that designs are different, even though your implementation is good. What can we do to make it look like it?
So we have a comment from Michael. The front matter in a steering dock can be modified to inclusion file match patterns. Yes, so components. That's a really good call, actually. So that actually would be really good for when we're kind of like just want to focus on the components, right? That's that's really good. Because you think about doing global pattern matches, right?
We immediately forget about it. Like immediately forget about these things.
Yeah, that's a really, really good tip. That is, Michael. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. I love that. When we started off, I need to take a moment to tell this. Like when we started off, we were saying, hey, like even though if it's only two of us, it will be good. And now having people, like reminding us some stuff, like following along, it's really cool. It's really like making it more fun. I don't know.
They're all here for you, Sally. I think what it is that you're wearing the Arsenal top, right? Obviously, some Gunner fans here.
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
Don't worry. There are other good football teams you can follow. You don't have to follow Sally and follow Arsenal. Although I know there's probably a lot of you out there that's going to now suddenly lynch me.
Yeah, I mean, come on, this is one of the things that is going weirdly good this year. I don't know, man. I don't want to jinx it, but
no, exactly. That's it. Every Arsenal supporter I know is just not saying anything about it because they don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
Right.
we just
they're looking
slowly
good. They're looking good.
The jersey. All right. So here's what I will do. I will ask her a question, and I will say, I want to give a positive start. Like I want to say, right now, everything looks good. I am impressed with your implementation. However,
there's always a but.
Design. Yeah, exactly. The designs that I share has different and unique components that looks more like a medieval age game with some let's say fun board view alongside the text frames.
Right.
And I want to bring in one more screenshot as well that you shared with the leaderboard not leaderboard, the question view as well. I'm just going to take it. and so it can understand what I mean.
Because I did provide some backgrounds, didn't I, as well?
Yeah,
So
so
it's not
I will
just.
just put the background over here as well so they can see.
I actually have the image itself without the boards, so I can send that to you as well. That might be actually. So I've got one which has got multiple different ones as well.
Yeah.
So let me just get that for you
You
now.
you send me that for sure, but I wanna like ask it what should we do to
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
implement. Probably it will ask us for these images anyway. How can we make the UI more look like the designs? In the meantime, you can send it anyway. By the way, like,
I'm sending it. I'm sending it. I'm sending it
all right,
via the mechanisms of Slack.
all right, all right.
It's with you. It's with you now.
So right now, hey, it says great designs, man. Good job, you know.
Well, I've got I've got Nova Canvas to thank for that, because I
Yeah.
use Nova Canvas to generate those. And again, that's actually something that rather than using the playground, I actually built a simple app and that provided me with dials and all that kind of stuff, so that it would be just more easily. So sorry, I can't speak. It'll be easier for me to experiment. So that again, that's something that I find, in the days gone by, you might have gone to the kind of the console, and you might have used the little widgets they've got there. Now, Strands is so good that, and the Strands MCP server is so awesome that in literally 5 minutes you've got an app that does more than you can do in that console, right? So, and you can also plug in different models as well, which is brilliant. So big shout out to Nova Canvas there and Strands.
All right, so
What's it said? A welcome page, Dartwood. So is it actually?
It is actually. I'm going to go back. It is actually building the frame in CSS.
But that's not. I mean, so okay. So is it actually just building the structure, but not actually providing the asset? Because we don't want it to create the artifacts, right? We want control. We want artistic control, right? We want something that we manage, right? So I think that's the thing, is that I was.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't stop it on purpose, because my question was quite clear. I said, what can we do?
Yeah.
And like I asked, how can we do it? But it just started to do it anyway. I wanted to hear more opinions. But
it's built. Yeah, I mean, I think, but is it building it, or is it just like coming up with the structure on which the stuff we've currently built will work on?
No, it builds. See, like there's even a tiny animation.
Look, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I like that.
It built it. Yeah.
You know what?
And there's this.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, I think I mean, even though it's not kind of what's on the screenshot, that doesn't matter, right? That's just the vision, right? But if it's good enough, right? But I think there is like something that around, again, going back to the structuring projects, right? Back in the day, you had your UI layer with your business logic and all that kind of stuff. For me, there's the UI piece, right? And then together but separate is a theming piece, right? How you theme your UI, and then you've got the business logic on top, or the state and the business logic on top of that, right? So it feels that what we need to do is we need to basically build in that theming capability into the UI layer, and then have a mechanism by which we upload assets, so that we could change the look and feel of it. It's still working. It's working hard. We're pushing it.
It is actually adding some stuff to the game page. I'm really curious what it's trying to do to this page. So that's why I came in here. Like,
so what if you look at the delta? What's the delta then? If you look at the diff, sorry, the diff file, the link, we just be able to see the diff.
Like right now, it added a medieval frame, changed the welcome page, and now changing the game page. And in the game page, it is adding the medieval frame as well to the questions. I think.
So it's just put the frame in. It's just put it in a frame. That's all it's done. It looks like. Oh no, there's a lot further down. It's changed. So it looks like it's added a whole bunch of stuff below.
Yeah, it is actually changing a lot. Like from the looks
that's it. It's changed, but it's not quite what we wanted. But
no, we can revert it, right? So
I think this could be a revert. This could be a revert using the restore checkpoint. Yeah, because it's not quite. I mean, things though, this does bring up an important point around sometimes when you ask agentic AI tools to do something or just show you something or opinions, they
Yeah.
go way above and beyond, right? And they start implementing stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to be really, really specific. So I have this thing where I say, show, don't create any code, right? And even sometimes then it doesn't ignores me, right? But most times
Yeah.
that is enough, right? Just if you want to do something like that, then that's how you have to kind of like treat these prompts. Otherwise, be prepared to undo a lot of code.
Yeah.
So, Tobias, the reason why AI went ahead by itself implementing something instead of answering your question, isn't that because of the AI agent mode built in versus plan mode? Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
by default, in the chat interface, we are in autopilot mode. So if we turn autopilot off, so that's a good point. If we turn autopilot mode off, Sally, then it wouldn't have implemented all the code. So,
Are you sure? Because I think it would done, and it would say, "Are you happy with these changes?"
so normally, yeah, it's a good point actually. I thought autopilot mode asked you to confirm the code changes as and when it makes it. But again, we could try it and see what happens. But that's my
Yeah.
understanding of how it's supposed to work. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, by the way, it's. I will just tell it to delete the last 1, 2, 3, whatever commits it will create now.
Did you do what? Did you are you using the checkpoint restore feature?
It should be here, yeah. But like, does it also revert to?
And Michael's says he uses discuss only a lot. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I use similar language to discuss only, and that tends to work for me, right? So I think it is how you kind of like these tricks or these tools that of how you can actually engage with the prompt. I mean, you know what? It's fixed the problem though. It's fixed that alignment issue with the start and finish that
Yeah,
we had
but do you
before.
see? This is
Oh yeah,
this is.
but it's not actually. Yeah, it's caused more problems, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like this, this. No, 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 no. I really like what we had before.
So click on the restore point then at the top of the conversation. So
Here,
is it grayed
yeah,
out?
when it's
Cannot.
because it's still working.
Okay.
Yeah, when it's done, we will just go back to it.
Yeah. Okay. God, it's doing a lot. It's really getting into the creative side of it.
Yeah, and all of them were not so good. You already did a good job, you know.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I'm no designer, but I think the key thing here, okay, is that I was thinking I don't want to have one design, right? Because we go
Yeah,
to different events. I mean, she came out from again how you get these ideas, right? Last year we went to lots of different events, and those events have different themes, right? So it'd be
yeah,
really good to be able to add a theme that's aligned to that event. So we're kind of going along with the same theme. So Technorama, which is an awesome conference in I think Belgium, they have got a medieval theme this year, right?
yeah,
So castles, knights, and all that kind of stuff. So I rewrote my session abstract and title in that language, right? Because I do a lot of Dungeons
yeah,
and Dragons and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really into all that kind of
yeah,
stuff. And it was so cool, man. And so I think being able that's what kind of like thought. You know what we really need to do is we need the ability to separate the component from the UI aspect. Now the tiles are different because the tiles are always going to be tiles, right? But the board background and some of the other images, we got scope to change that, right? Based on the screenshots I gave you, because we're working with specific like rectangle areas, right? And
yeah,
there and then what we want is the UI layers to sit in between the gaps. So it's got that kind of like, I guess, natural sort of look and feel rather than it being kind of too, here's a template as opposed to,
yeah.
you know. So we've done the code.
I reverted. By the way, restore apparently doesn't do
It doesn't
commit.
restore the code commit, does it? Source code.
Yeah, but it's okay. We learned it this way as well, so I
Um,
can just do this
so
thing as well.
So I think that problem. So here's the thing, right? So I think the problem you had was because your rule file is auto committing, right?
Yeah,
And that's the problem. So because I don't have that rule, so I never have the issue. So all that happens is my version control just basically just the window just it disappears and I don't get on. So but so it's one of those things. Again, we've learned that if you have something in your steering file to do auto commits, then being able to
yeah,
restore or using the restore point, you should use the yeah, you should use the source control as opposed to the restore point. That'll get you
yeah,
the same way. The other thing I do, Sally, is that I have your steering kind of files for Git, but I put it as a hook, a manual hook,
yeah,
which I then basically do every now and then using a slash command, and that way I can
yeah.
I'm in control, right? So again, if you're using these tools, you're gonna need to figure out what works best for your workflow.
Yeah, we've seen what worked and we've seen what didn't as well, like along the processes as well. But like generally, my rule of thumb is like commits are for free. Use it. You can merge and it's like squash and merge later on anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, we need to slowly wrap up.
So yeah,
well,
we are getting close. We're getting close to finishing the front end, but we've got the theming. So probably what we'll do is we'll work on that in the next episode because I think that's going to be the last piece. So folks,
yeah,
I think we're back. When are we back? Are we back on Wednesday or
Thursday?
Thursday. So
yes,
we're going to be back on Thursday for the next installment of Fullstack for Noobs. So Sally and myself. Again, we're not touching the code. We're not touching anything in between sessions, which is a lot harder than it sounds, isn't it, Sally?
Yeah.
So we'll be back.
Believe me, it's like sometimes I need my sponsor and tell him I want to do this, and he's like, "No, you're stronger."
I had to drag Sally away from the keyboard. So
yeah.
we're basically going to be wrapping up, hopefully, where we I think the final component of the front end is the theming piece, and then we can start thinking about the back end components and what that looks like, and then how I guess finally we then stitch the two together. So tune in on Thursday. Watch out for socials on timings, but it's going to be roughly I think the same time, Sally, isn't it? So
yeah, or give it a follow on YouTube, Twitch as well. It sends you notification. That also works. And LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and the other platform that changed names with the bird on it. I don't want to call it.
I don't go anywhere near that one anymore.
yeah. But yeah, let us know. Cool. Folks.
And again, thanks for all the comments and interactions. That's much appreciated. If you've got any questions, that you've had from today, bring them to the next episode, and Sally and Mia will do our best to answer them. So until then, see you on Thursday.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye.